A Course in Miracles. Text, verse 8 is where we're going to pick up again. So we left with, we'll start with 6 and work up to it. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Basically, it is natural to live in love and be love and see love. And it's our own habits that have created the world and all the separation stuff. And if it is our own habits, then we can let go of those habits. But habits, as you know, are very hard to break. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. Miracles, so 8. Miracles are healing because they supply a lack. They are performed by those who temporarily have more, for those who temporarily have less. And once again, we're talking about perspective.
Yeah, we went over that one where it was like sometimes in our marriage, like last night, I had more to give and he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He told me, because sometimes he doesn't tell me I have less.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's so hard to do.
Or maybe he had more and I had less.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's great when it does. Like, if you guys are both tapped out and then you guys just supposed to attack, that's where things spiral. But if one person can be like, oh, okay, feel free to unravel.
I feel like because he doesn't.
So it's like, whoa.
I feel like because he doesn't often, when he does, a part of me is like, even if I don't have enough, I'm like, I can do this. I'm your savior.
Yeah,
I'll
give you a turn.
And it gives me energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Almost to do it,
Yeah, I feel that. There's like, it feels, with me and Carolyn, it feels like if someone's freaking out, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to be the one freaking out.
You can freak out now. I'll just chill.
Yeah. Somebody needs to freak out in this
Somebody's
scenario.
freaking out, yeah. I'll let it be you.
Yeah.
9, miracles are a kind of exchange. Like all expressions of love, which are always miraculous in the true sense, the exchange reverses the physical laws. They bring more love to both the giver and the receiver.
Is that what we were just talking about, kind of? Or no?
Yes, kind of. Well, at least we were talking about don't resist resistance. That's what, let one person freak out at a time. That's what it is. But when you don't resist, if miracles are an exchange, if miracles are natural, then our natural state is that of love and peace and contentment. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, self-control, like all those fruits of the Spirit.
Can I ask, so when I'm doing facials on my clients, like giving them a facial, I feel like that exchange, I feel like there's just, it's love. Like if I'm like starting my morning with a bad day and I have a facial, I know at the end of my facial, I'm going to feel peace, like I'm going to feel good. And I feel like the other person does too. And I feel like, I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but I feel like that's an exchange where both of us feel love.
Yeah.
Where both of us just kind of like let go of whatever was going on for the day, and we're both just in it in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a perfect example.
Oh, cool.
So what's happening now? Let's dig into that a little bit, because the exchange reverses the physical laws. So what are the physical laws? Physical laws is there's a finite amount of something, and if I have $10 and you have a cup, I give you the $10 and I take your cup, and then you don't have a cup and I don't have $10. So the physical laws that we think we live by are that of scarcity. Meaning there's a finite thing, and if I have it, you don't, and if you have it, I don't. And so we have to figure out how to want less of something, or figure out how to get by without the something. And we're scared of that, because that the end of that is death.
Yeah, so when I go into when you say that, I think like, okay, when I go into the facial, I'm not excited, even though I know it's going to bring me peace. I'm like, I'm resisting it for some reason. I don't know why, but is that because I'm like scared I'm letting go of like my problem? I don't know. Does that like I'm letting go of like
Absolutely. The ego, which is our personality, which is our persona, which is our separate character. The separate character needs to stay separate. It has to. And so if you do an activity that removes the separation, it's damaging. In fact, if we stay there, it is a death. And just like anything else that's faced with a death, it starts to freak out.
yeah.
And so what's happening, though, in that facial moment, if you think about the things that when you give, they get strengthened, you'll be thinking about the things that are of the spirit, like moving towards spirit versus moving towards
like that.
personality.
Yeah.
Or you could think it moving towards love versus moving towards fear. Fear needs separation to survive. Fear needs scarcity. Fear needs that unique thing that only I can have and you can't have, and that's what's called valuable to the ego, to fear, that uses fear. Spirit uses love, which is all-encompassing. So when you open your heart to love someone, you don't get less love, you get more love. When you become curious about something and you say, how fascinating, you don't get less curiosity, you get more curiosity. When you give yourself to collaboration to another, you don't get less collaboration, you get more collaboration.
Yeah.
When you engage in peace and you let it all go and all the things that you've structured to protect yourself fall away, and you offer the peace to another as an invitation, you don't get less peace, you get more peace. When you forgive, let's see, forgive is not quite there. Forgive is more the mechanism. But you get all these states. When you're in contentment, meaning there's nothing more that I want. I'm not trying to get more things. When I'm in contentment and you say to another, it's okay.
Yeah.
Everything is okay.
Sure.
We are complete.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like I am very content right now with everything. I think sometimes with certain friends, I get uneasy and I start like, I have this like gut feeling where I'm like, ugh, I feel sick to my stomach. But then with this lesson and what we're learning, I feel like it's okay. I'm okay. It's okay if they don't like me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I have everything that I need. My family loves me, is what I remind myself. You know,
Your family loves you.
And I'm more secure with who I am.
Well, what's even more wild as you go along is the idea of me and that there is no me to love or to not love. Because reminding yourself that your family loves you is a wonderful reminder.
But it's like the separation again.
It's separation again. I mean, at least it's a better story about the me.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's not bad.
Okay.
But there's progressions to make.
Yeah, and I'll get there. I think the only thing that I fear right now is the lack of money is the only thing in my life right now that I'm not content with, that I'm learning to be content with. I have to teach him. Because I was content yesterday, and then he brought it back up, and then I was like, all these feelings were like, oh my gosh, you're right.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, that's the one that I get swept up into.
Yeah.
You know, and you could, the way really good to engage with the things that are stumbling you is you can just face it with its contradiction. So, when you don't have enough to give, you give. When you're afraid of losing something, you give it away. When you're afraid they're going to find out, you tell it on yourself. When it's almost like that when there's the dark cloud, you don't run away from it, you walk through it. So whatever that is, you do it but you do it with an open heart of vulnerability. So the ego wants to protect, and the spirit releases. And there's a difference, because when you protect yourself, you're actually attacking.
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
And when you release, you're becoming vulnerable. And so if you can just imagine the action that would follow up with an open stance, palms up, even palms up lower at your hip,
Okay.
or even palms up above your shoulders, like hands up. It's an open stance.
Oh, open heart?
Open heart, even like this, and even in some fights that Carolyn and I have had, Yes, honey.
Yes, let's do this.
Right, totally open. And if a boxer would come out that way, they're going to get pummeled, right? Because there's no protecting
Sure.
any of their body. But usually we come at life in a protective stance. And so everything gets tucked in. We're protecting our organs. We're clenching our fists. We're ready for attack. We're ready for the blow. And if we're making everything up, that stance, it's triggering the world around us to give us what we expect, because all the options are there. There's no finding. There's no need to find. There's no need to create and go get the options. They're all right there. So we can have a life that resonates and that we find with the open stance, which is an open heart, which is that of vulnerability, because the vulnerable are actually invulnerable. It's one of the principles. I forget the exact wording, but it's something about when you give the thing that will for sure perish, and embrace that which can never perish, you can never be hurt.
Okay, so one last thing. That said, you're saying that how do I my body is something that's going to perish. When we're talking about that, I know we're talking about money, but then I'm like, okay, you've given me a skill on how to like do that, think about money, but then I'm like, okay, the next thing I forgot, I am fearful of my pain came back. So then I in that instance I think about my body and how my body is not here, my body will perish or whatever. Is that how I go forward with thinking about my pain? Like, this is not forever, or this is not real, or
Yeah. Yes, it's similar. Well, it goes along with our lesson that we're going to do today.
Okay.
In that the thing that we experience is not the thing we experience. What we're experiencing, almost 100% of the time, sometimes, is the past and the future. So we have this pain. Like I have chronic pain in different parts of my body, and Carolyn does too.
Yeah.
And so we talk about this.
Yes.
The thing that we're experiencing is this past. So we have all of this past that brings us to the future.
Yeah.
And right now, and what we experience, like I have my hip or the different parts of my leg that hurt. I see basically all of the things I can't do. So I can't, this is all from my past. I can't do jiu-jitsu, I can't do CrossFit, I can't do, I can't have the body I want, I can't be as fit as I want to be, I can't.
Is it what you're telling yourself or what you did tell yourself?
Well, it's instant, it's meaning.
Got it.
Like what does it mean? How do you know what the pain means? Well, you know it means from your past. You bring it all in, and then right now it becomes bad because of all this past.
Got it.
And you're like, wow, okay, so now this pain, boom, it's not a stimulus that tells you anything. It's literally this whole life that you lost. This is one example.
Yeah.
And then,
it's the perfect example.
simultaneously, you step
Because
into the
that's what we
future.
do.
So now you're in the past. You get this stimulus, like, boom, oh, what is that pain? Oh, I know what that pain is. Loss. And then you step into the future then. You step right over the present, and you step over the future, and then you get into another thing that doesn't exist, which is called the future. And then you're like, what is the future? Oh, increased loss, discomfort,
Things that I'm doing
deformity.
now that I won't be able to do later.
I'm not going to be able to do it. It's going to get worse. I'm going to be an invalid. I'm going to have to, I'm going to get cancer. I'm going to die. My family's going to mourn me.
Yeah.
And then I can't do anything. And now look at my family. They're not even doing what they're supposed to do. I need to get everybody right. You're not doing it right. It's messed up. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so I step into the past. I define my present moment from loss. I step into the future. I intensify that loss.
Yeah.
and then I never even experience what's right now, which is just this stimulus.
Okay, so go ahead.
And so, what I work on doing, and what I don't know. I don't know what Carolyn does most of the time.
Yeah.
But
We've had our talks.
the goal is to just feel the pain. If you can just feel the pain, it's not that painful. The pain without suffering is not that painful. So
how do you feel the pain?
Pain is just a stimulus. It's nothing else. Like, and the reason it can be even pleasant. Like, can pain be pleasant? Of course it can. So think about going to an incredible workout and you're super sore. Well, think about going, like, if you go to a workout and you're really sore.
Yeah.
And if you're into working out, you're like, yeah, look how sore I am. I want to get buff. Or you have this crazy facial and it's really sensitive. You're like, oh, sweet. My skin's going to be so great. Or any number of things that are super painful, but you have this context of this is good. I'm so excited that it's working.
So for today with Wild Rivers, I can tell myself, like, it's so worth it to be here.
You could.
Because of the joy that I'm receiving with my child.
Yeah, you could do that. Well, or it's really hard to change it, right? So remember, it's a...
Because that's why I'm going.
We're in the current.
Joy on my kid's face.
For sure. We're in the current. It's sweeping you downstream fast. And so we're paddling to try to stay right at camp, right, instead of being swept downstream. And so the very minimum that we should work on is just paying attention to ourselves. Just be aware.
Okay.
You're like, wow, I wonder what that is that makes me suffer so much, because a jab of pain is not enough to make me suffer. It is pain, but it's not enough to make me suffer. What is it that I'm thinking?
I was turning it into suffering, though. I did.
That's what I mean.
I was turning it into suffering.
So that's the question. What is it? What's the story that you're thinking about?
Yeah.
And so once you know the story, you can ask yourself, well, is it true? Could there be another story I tell that could be equally true, or even more true, right? So for example, my story, I'll recontextualize my stories all the time. I can be like, man, I really wish my parents weren't so crazy and my grandparents weren't so crazy, and maybe I could have had a different life and I wouldn't got hit by a car and I wouldn't have all these physical trouble right now because I wouldn't have been in that place and they let me do that. What the heck's wrong with them? Or even less accusatory. I could just be like, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Whatever, because that's like a big source of much of my injuries. This thing that happened when I was 10 years old, and now I'm in the past, and what can I do about that? Zero, nothing. Or I can be like, I wonder what changes in my life happened that I have no idea about. And there's that story that Gary Renard talks about how he went to this movie, and he was telling Persa and whatever the other ascended master is, I forget his name. He was telling him about how he wasted two.
Or no, that's the.
What's the guy's name?
That's the author.
Oh, I forget his name. Persa and I forget. He was saying, I wasted 2 hours of my life. I'm never going to get back. And he was complaining.
Because he hated the movie.
Yeah. And they said, well, if you would have gone to that other movie you were considering going, you would have gotten out at a different time, and you would have got in a horrible car accident. And so you didn't get out at that time because you're embracing these forgiveness lessons, and so you didn't need that lesson.
Amen.
And he's like, what? Really?
Yeah. Jared says all the time, like, I was going to be a professional football player. I was like, if you were going to be a professional football player, I would have never met you.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go meet a professional football player?
Yeah.
Especially in another state. I'm not able to travel.
Yeah.
And I always remind him of that. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Because I think he wallowed on that for a long time. He'll see, like, the game, and he's like, oh, I could have been,
Yeah.
Like, but look what we have.
Yeah. And we just never know. I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is, we never know. What are you being saved from?
Yeah, sure.
And so for me, I'm like, well, what was I being saved from? I mean, I don't know, but I could make up a different story. And then for me, I make up what my life was like right before I got by a car, and how I was getting way more mischief, and how I remember I loved cussing as much as I can and being a bad boy, and I loved getting in. I got in this fight at school, and I loved it, and this car accident derailed that whole thing, and got me on this completely different path, like
Sure.
almost like I was a different kid overnight.
Yeah.
So could that have been
Of course.
better?
Yeah.
It could have been better, and why not believe it was, and why not be thankful for it?
Sure.
For Jared, who knows? If he would have kept playing football, he could have, broke his
Married up.
back.
Oh yeah.
You
I'm all
know,
married up.
He could have been married to someone crazy that pulled a bobbit
all
on
his
him.
money.
Yeah. Elena Bobbitt, what was her name?
Yeah, Lorraine.
Lorena Bobbitt, yeah. Who knows, right? There's a bunch of crazies in that world.
Yeah, I know.
So we don't know, and so do we trust that we really are looking out for ourselves? Do we trust that God loves us?
Yeah.
And if we do, then could this really be the best possible scenario, even if we go to the past and judge that it wasn't what we wanted?
I mean, there's so many scenarios, and it's like going down that path is, I feel like, so reckless.
Oh, it's infinitely horrible if we
Yeah.
want.
Right.
It's infinitely horrible, but it could also be, on the other side, infinitely wonderful, because we're making it up.
Sure. Yeah. And so this could be the most wonderful.
This could be the most wonderful. And if I believe that God really loves us, I do. And I trust that God is orchestrating this for my good,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I also trust that I was a part of that decision making.
Of course.
Like, I'm not a victim, even though I can't remember it. I'm a part of it. I agreed to it. I said, this is a great plan. Here we go.
Yeah.
Which I do. Then why am I complaining?
Yeah.
And I also think, even more than all that this life now is heavily scripted, meaning that you think you're choosing, and I don't think you are. And I mean you as in Layla, and me as in Javon,
Okay.
the personality. I think there are certain choices that we do have, but it's more like the choose your own adventure book.
Right. Eventually,
Or-
you're gonna.
Or the alternative ending in a movie.
Sure.
There are alternative endings, but even those alternative endings, or the choose your own adventure book,
End up.
those are scripted already too.
Yeah.
So there are some different routes we can take, but it's all scripted,
Yeah.
and the personality is here to experience it. For what purpose? I think the whole purpose is to forgive the things that we resist.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And so your pain is perfectly tuned for you.
Yes.
Jared is perfectly tuned for you. Your girls are perfectly tuned for you. All
They're perfect.
to bring up all those judgments that you harbor
Sure.
that separate you from the thing you want the most, which is to know thyself, which is to know God.
Okay.
Bam. And that is the whole Course in Miracles.
Okay. Are we gonna do lesson 7?
Yeah.